Okay, let's talk about power outputs. One of my favourite subjects. Um, you don't have to be in a paddock for long to hear people whining. Oh, I've only got 190 brake. He's got 200 brake. I'm a better driver. He's just got more power than me. Blah blah blah. Uh, it's only when you come to actually measuring engine power you realise not only how tricky it is, but how fleeting it is. For example, on this Superflow 902 engine dyno, you can use the computer to set acceleration rates, which means you tell it, you dial in, you want to start at 2000 RPM, you apply full throttle, release it, it will go up to your preset, maybe 7000. Once it gets to that, it physically drags the engine back down while you close the throttle. But if you set the acceleration rate faster, you actually end up with less power. So you think, well, perhaps we should do it in steps then. The software allows you to do that. So you set it every, I don't know, 500 RPM, tell it how many seconds to sit there. And if you hold it for, say, 5 seconds, you get 1 power curve. If you hold it for 12 seconds, you get less power. So it's very hard to measure. And when people are arguing about power outputs, they don't really understand what you're measuring. What's happening is with the first one, there's a thing called slew rate, which is basically the acceleration rate where you're measuring the engine power. So the flywheel on the engine has a certain mass. And if it's like this dyno, the actual dyno has a mass as well. So in order to accelerate the mass, you're taking power away from the engine. So the faster you accelerate it, the more power gets absorbed by the flywheel. So the lower the power is on the final result. When you do it on steady state, if you're only there 5 seconds and then it moves on, the combustion chamber doesn't heat up anything like as much as you hold it longer. And then as the chambers, if you're holding it for say 12 or 15 seconds, the chamber's heating up, the power's starting to fall away. It's just how it works. So when people argue about 2 or 3 brake, it's a nonsense. How are you measuring it? Really tricky. Then you come to rolling roads. I love the rolling road. I like it because you've got all that mass in the gearbox, the axle, the wheels going around, huge rollers. They're a tremendous damper. And you can set acceleration rates, but what is it you're actually measuring? Now, this drives me mad. Our American cousins are all obsessed with RWP, rear wheel power, which, if you know how it works, is absolutely meaningless. The engine makes the power. If you're measuring the power at the back wheels, you've got to allow for all the losses. So how do the losses vary? Okay, go back to about 1990 when I had my first rolling road. It cost us a lot of money, £5,000 I seem to remember at the time, which I borrowed from the bank. And we got it all installed. And within, well, a couple of hours, we realised we didn't have a clue how it worked. We didn't know how it worked. We didn't know what we were measuring. But we're pretty consistent. And Carl, who I work with, who does the electronics, he's one of the smartest people I know. And he figured out it was the rolling loss that was making the difference. So we're on his Golf. We put his Golf GTI on the rollers, run it at 4,000 RPM, went down to full throttle. I think we measured about 80 brake. And we pumped the tyres up, 10 psi. We got 84 brake. Well, where did that come from? The engine's making the same power it was before. We did the 2 runs within about 10 minutes of each other. And that's when you start to realise the rolling losses, most of it is in the tyres. If it was in the gearbox and the axle, the oil would boil up and the thing would seize, wouldn't it? So huge tyres, really wide tyres, absorb a lot of power because the roller's pressing into the tyre. It's not like being on the road. It's not a flat surface. It's actually concave. So if you pump the tyres up, you actually get less resistance. So power goes up. So the upshot of all this is you have to measure the rundown, and you have to put that together with the power that you measured at the wheels to get back to the flywheel. There is quite a fiddle factor involved because you've got the mass of the rollers. Our rollers, the MSR 1000, they're huge, which is an advantage in that you've got less tyre distortion because the diameter of the roller is so big, it presses into the tyre less. The downside is having a huge diameter like that, it has a big mass. And when you want to measure the rundown, you knock it out of gear and then you sit and you can almost have a cup of tea while you're waiting for it to run down. But you have to do it. You just have to be patient. If you want accuracy, it takes time. So that's really the answer. You have to measure the rundown. So when the Americans bang on about rear wheel power, all I'm asking is, what tyres have you got? If you're on bicycle rims, that's going to give you a terrific power increase, especially if you pump them right up. If you've got really wide, sticky slicks, that's going to slaughter the power at the wheels. But the engine hasn't changed. So please stop going on about power at the wheels. You must measure the rundown. And when people say it's a transmission loss, it's not. It's a rolling loss. It's the most of it is in the tyres, and you've got some on the gears, the gearbox, but the tyres are the cruncher. So there you go. Take no notice of power at the wheels. You do need to measure the rundown.